Hi, I'm Paul. Welcome to Start Waveski Surfing. Well, let's start with the very beginning. What is a waveski? Take a kayak, mix it with a surfboard, and what you get is a waveski. You ride the waves just like you do with a surfboard, but instead of standing up, you'll be seated and you use a kayak pedal to move around and to steer. This is my very first waveski. It's from the brand Waveski. This is an older board. It must have been produced in the 80s, maybe the early 90s. Waveski is still in the game producing high performance waveskis. But this is my board. It's a nice board to ride with, but I must say it's a quite challenging board to begin with. Because when you are a beginner, what you need is a lot of stability to learn your techniques. And this board has more the measurements of a board for an advanced pedaler. It's a bit narrower and also a bit shorter than a beginner board. Another thing what makes this board quite challenging to begin with is that the nose is quite flat. A lot of boards have a nose that goes higher up, and let me explain that for a second, why that gives it more challenge to ride with. When you're taking a wave, the wave lifts you up and your nose goes down. If your nose goes on the water level, boom, you're flipping over and the ride is over. So you can imagine when your nose goes up a little higher, the wave lifts you up, it's easier to take the wave and to make the ride. When we talk about the board, the back side we call the tail, the front side we call the nose. Here's your seat, here's where you sit, and there's a seat bed. This is not the original seat bed, I changed it. I made another video about that. Check it out on my channel, Changing Seat Bed. So you're seated on your waveski, and with this belt, you buckle up, you put it high on your legs. This belt gives you good stability on your board and helps you also to make nice turns because you're taking your board with you while you're buckled up. It's a quick release belt. When you're flipping over with your board and you're not able to do an Eskimo roll, which means rolling back over, with one gesture you open your belt, you loose from your board, climb back on, and you go further with your rides. Then you have the foot straps. These foot straps also give you a good grip on your waveski. What we got here in the nose is a valve. The valve is here to release the air pressure. When you have your board on the beach or in your car for a long time, your board expands because of the temperature. Then you best open your valve to release the air pressure. Another reason why it's here is that this is a hollow board and it takes some water. So after every session I have to pour the water out. On the bottom of the board you have 3 fins. As you can see, the center one is not the original one. This is my original one, but as you can see it broke, so I had to change it. I'm temporarily using this one till I got a new fin. As you can see, when you come a bit closer, you can see that you can put your fins in different positions. I have them now in center position, but you can put them more to the front or more to the back. When you place them to the front, it's good for smaller waves and to make sharp turns. When you put them all the way to the back, it's better for higher waves and also for bigger turns. But to be honest, I didn't try the different positioning yet. I always have them in center position. Got to try it out sometime and see which difference I feel. So that's a short introduction to the board. Let's talk about the gear we're using. Of course, we have a pedal. We use it to move around and to steer, to help you with your turns. And it also gives you stability on the water when you're waiting for the waves. Okay, let's talk about the helmet. I must admit, this isn't the most fashionable piece of gear I have, but it gives me a lot of security. I already experienced a few times that I was in the water next to my board and a wave pushed my board against my head. Then I was very happy to have this helmet. Also, when you're flipping over with your board, because you're attached to the board with your belt, wave, the power of the wave, drags you along for a few meters as long as the wave is powerful. And then when you cross a sandbank and you hit with your head against the sandbank, then you're happy to wear a helmet. Another positive side effect of the helmet is that it keeps your head warm. I also surf in the winter. You can surf in Holland all through the winter when you get the right wetsuits and the rest of the gear. So it helps you to keep your head warm. It's not the same effect as a neoprene cap, of course, but it helps a lot. Oh yeah, and the last thing about the helmets, well, about this particular helmet, the positive effect of that it's so flashy. When I get into problems, lifeguard can see me from far away, so it's a good thing, no? Last piece of gear I want to talk about is a foot leash. When I started about a year ago, fall season started, so it wasn't so crowded in the sea, and I started in fact without a leash. But when it became crowdier in springtime, I bought myself a leash for my own safety, but also for the safety of the other surfers or swimmers in the sea. Unfortunately, I'm not able to do an Eskimo roll yet, so when I'm flipping over, I have to release myself from the board, and then I'm next to my board in the water. When it can occur that you just fall down and the next wave is already coming in and it grabs your board with some speed and you're not able to grab your board on time, so it takes off with a speed, and then it's a danger for other people in the water. So then it's very good to have a foot leash so you don't lose your board and it doesn't hit anyone. A lot of boards have a plug in the nose of the board where you can attach your leash. This board doesn't have a plug, so what I do is I attach it to my foot straps. Sometimes it gets a bit annoying then, because when I'm paddling the leash is in my way, so it's handier when you have a board with a plug in the front, because then your leash is not getting in the way so easily. Now it depends a bit on the conditions, how rough the waves are, how crowded it is, if I'm using my leash or not. What you also can do is use a pedal leash. Then you connect your leash between your ski and your pedal. But I must say that I'm not a fan about that, and in the year that I'm riding now, it only happened to me once that a wave pulled my pedal out of my hands. I had to go swimming behind it. But I prefer the foot leash. Well, actually I prefer to learn the Eskimo roll, but hopefully I will be able to do that in a short time. So that was it for this video about the Waveski and gear. Thanks for watching and see you in my next videos. Bye!
J'ai besoin de la lune pour lui parler la nuit. J'ai besoin du soleil pour me chauffer la vie. J'ai tant besoin de toi, tout à côté de moi. J'ai tant besoin de toi, tout à côté de moi. J'ai besoin de la lune pour lui parler la nuit. Tant besoin du soleil pour voir venir le jour. J'ai besoin de mon père pour savoir d'où je viens. Tant